Hey, it's Squidly. Today I want to share with you 10 pieces of gear that I take on just about every trip that I absolutely do not need. Okay, the point of this video is to point out some pieces of gear. A lot of people call them luxury items. Some of this is just beyond luxury. It's almost necessity. Could I do without it? Yeah. But do I want to do without it? Absolutely not. So these are 10 pieces of gear that I take on just about every trip, but really don't need them. All right, number one is the Nalgene Canteen. Don't use this to drink out of. This is for nightly relief. This is my pee bottle. Now, could I do away with this? Of course. But it's so much more convenient to be able to get up in the middle of the night and go without having to leave the tent. Now, for a very long time, like decades, 25 years, I, in the middle of the night, would just have to get up and get out of the tent to go and relieve myself. And so this is something I haven't been using for very long, but it's not something that I look for changing anytime soon. I'm going to continue using this, and it goes on every trip. Okay, number two is something to sit in. Either I take my Helinox chair, or more recently I've been taking the short hammock. Really like this. It's lighter, not as convenient for sitting around a campfire because obviously you have to have a couple of trees to hang it up, but really like this because it's lightweight and it is really comfortable. So this is something else that I take on trips when I know I'm going to be in camp for a while, especially some of these late fall, winter, early spring trips where the days are short, you've got more time in camp at night. So I enjoy having something to sit in. So this is something that goes on just about every trip. Number three is a fanny pack. Now, I could do without this, just like I'm saying with all of these, I could completely do without it, but there's a real convenience factor here because in here I keep my snacks through the day. I usually pack my lunch in here, so it means that when I do stop to get something to eat, I don't have to take my pack off and start digging through it, but I also keep my diabetic medications in here, so it's basically at my fingertips. It just makes life on trail through the course of the day a little bit more convenient. This is a few ounces that I could do without, but have no plan to. Number four is the stuff sack for my sleeping bag. You know, I see a lot of people either live on trail or in other YouTube videos, and they're taking their sleeping bag or their quilt and they're just stuffing it directly into their pack. And I thought, oh yeah, I'm gonna try that. And it just didn't work. Now, my sleeping bags are down and they're really packable. They pack down really tight, but there's so much loft in them that when I'm trying to pack them into my backpack, they take up so much room that I can't get them to pack down and allow me to put anything else in the pack. So I just sort of gave up on it and decided I'll just take the little bit of a weight penalty and continue taking the stuff sack that comes with it. And just for my own convenience, that's what I do. Number five is a pillow. Now, I usually take the Thermarest Airhead pillow. Recently, I had a friend give me a pillow that was a part of a sleeping bag, and he didn't want the pillow out of it. It's a little bit lighter than the Airhead pillow, and I think I'm going to give it a shot. We'll just see how that goes. But in any case, taking a pillow is the difference between a reasonably good night's sleep and not sleeping much at all. Discovered a few years ago that having a pillow instead of trying to make one out of a stuffed sack and some extra clothes or whatever I have is just so much more convenient, get so much better rest that it's just totally worth it. Number six is a tripod, and I have, I think, three of them, and they're all really lightweight. And because I shoot video on trail, I sort of need a tripod. It just makes things easier, it makes things more convenient. But something else I've discovered is that when I'm just taking pictures, because I'm a little bit shaky sometimes, and so just taking pictures, using the tripod makes it easier for me to get a better quality picture. So I like taking the tripod, and for right now I'm going to continue doing it until I figure out something else or just decide that it's not worth it anymore. Number seven is the stuff sack for my ditty bag. Now, I've had this particular one for more than 20 years. This thing is super old. I even tried replacing it one time and ended up coming right back to it. I like it. It's really lightweight. There's not a whole lot to it. And the truth is, I could do away with it, but all of the little things that go into a ditty bag would just be floating around in my pack and would make it sometimes, I think, honestly, just nearly impossible to find it without just completely dumping my pack out. So this is an ounce or two that is completely worth having in my pack for the organization and the ease of finding some of the little things that you carry. Number 8 is a Nalgene bottle. Now, I normally drink out of either Life water bottles or Smart water bottles. And so when I take a Nalgene bottle, it has nothing to do with hydration. I do not take this for the purpose of drinking out of it. Instead, this one only goes on trips where the temperatures are going to be usually deep into the 20s. I mean, like low 20s. And what I'll do is boil some water to put in here and start off the night with a hot water bottle. It helps me to stay warm, helps warm up the sleeping bag so that I have more warmth through the whole night. I've even woken up before with the water in here still really warm. Number 9 is a doormat. For years, I've taken a piece of closed cell foam as my doormat, and it just helps to stay cleaner in the tent and keep from dragging everything in the forest in the tent with you, leaves, dirt, all kinds of stuff. And it's been a really welcome addition to my pack over the years. So I'm not getting rid of a doormat, but what I have done is I've switched it out to the Hilltop Packs. I think they call it the personal something mat. I can't remember now what they call it, but I mentioned it in a previous video, and had my own custom printed with a picture on it. And so I'll be using this now as my doormat. So I'm not getting rid of it, just upgrading. And number 10 is an umbrella. I've been using an umbrella now, I guess, for probably between 3 and 4 years. Maybe it's 3.5, it's somewhere in there. And so for a very long time, I went without an umbrella, just depended on my rain gear to keep me dry. And what I have found is that using an umbrella is a real morale boost, because you're able to eat, you're able to be out in the weather without feeling like it's just all over you. This gives you just a little bit more protection so that you can exist without feeling like you're just being poured on, which I guess literally you are. But so anyway, having the umbrella is just a real morale boost, and it's not something that I'm going to be eliminating. I have used a bunch of different umbrellas, most of them cheap and basically disposable, and recently upgraded to a much better one. And so this one will be going on trips with me now. Okay, those are 10 pieces of gear that I do not have to have, but I take them anyway. Do me a favor, in the comments, tell me some pieces of gear that you take that you absolutely do not need. And let's have a conversation. And on the way out, don't forget to hit like and subscribe.